Welcome to that spiritual, actual, factual answers to questions you're asking. You find them inside you, recite you, reciting the records. Akashic, we laughing, we drafting the passion through vary. It's time for that comedy, dramedy, all of the fanciest, catchiest acronyms. Listeners, listen, we traveling. Consciousness always unraveling. The reading you're having is mapping you back to your natural habitat. Abracadabra, it's magic, let's basking it. To top it off, the host, all the classiest. Now, what were you asking for? All of the answers? What? All the answers.
Hello, my God. Hi, friends. You got a hi from me and a bark from Squeezle. That's a warm welcome. Well, welcome here. We're doing a special short half-hour episode with just me and Squeezle the dog. I am traveling cross country for the 90th time in 3 months. I'm here in an Airbnb in Mason, Texas. It's a beautiful day. It's been beautiful weather this whole drive. I'm very happy about it. Forgive my gravelly voice. I wanted to just talk about a concept or two here today for everybody's benefit, hopefully. And then I'm going to do a 3-card spread and maybe a little energy healing for all of you. Meaning I'm going to open the Akashic Records of all of our listeners who will hear this, which is sort of a fun idea to talk about in and of itself. But I'll come back to that. And then I'll pull 3 cards for all of our listeners who will hear this, and we'll see what's going on in your reality and if we can be of some use to you. So the concept I want to talk about today is human needs. This has been really just kind of up, and when I've spoken about it recently, I did a 3-card spread where I posted a needs list with the spread just sort of on my Facebook page and Twitter or Instagram, wherever we post all this stuff. We post Mondays and Fridays. By the way, if you're not aware of that, every Monday and Friday for free, you can get a 3-card spread by yours truly just by following my Facebook page. Go to Katie Rubin's Biz Stuff. So dumb. On Facebook or my Instagram, which is KL Rubin, K as in kiss, L as in love, RUBIN. And I do a free 3-card spread where I open the Akashic Records in that case of, quote, everyone who will see this video and benefit from it. What did you want to add, Squeezle? Just got a lot to say tonight, you guys. I'm taking these headphones off. We're going to get real. I'm just going to talk and not hear myself as well. Okay, so I was talking about in a recent 3-card spread on my Facebook page, needs, human needs. And it was really affecting for me to see how many people really benefited from seeing, even just seeing a needs list and starting to understand what needs are through the spiritual perspective. So a lot of times what we do in spiritual circles, right, consciousness circles, groups of people doing this kind of work, is people get very into the idea of detachment and doing everything on your own. A lot of people who come to spiritual healing or energy work or consciousness work are people who've dealt with all kinds of relational trauma, right? So perhaps you had engulfment in your childhood where like one parent or both parents were too much in your space and they crossed your boundaries and it made you feel unsafe, and you learned that life is unsafe and anyone can cross your boundaries at any time. So now when you try to have relationships, it's really hard for you because you feel like you're going to get engulfed. And so the natural reactive response to that is to just keep people at bay in general and go away. And then oftentimes a sort of coping strategy we develop when we believe we can't get our emotional needs met from human beings because we've been boundary crossed so badly. Side note, trauma is a boundary invasion. So pretty much anybody out there with any kind of trauma is a boundary invasion survivor. Anytime we have that kind of trauma or fear of engulfment or fear of intimacy or fear of rejection or fear of being left, any of that, we become sort of hyper individualist and hyper, I'm going to solve it on my own, and hyper self-reliant. And spiritual systems can be very supportive of that hyper self-reliance. That is to say, we have this whole thing we say in spiritual circles all about like, well, you shouldn't want to get your needs met from other people. You should be able to meet them on your own. Or like, don't wait around for someone to love you. Learn to love yourself. And, don't be codependent. Don't take care of other people. Take care of yourself. These are all things that have an element of truth in them. But the other side of the coin of these statements is that human beings are relational animals. We are transpersonal beings. We are meant to be connected to the herd or the tribe or the collective. We're social primates, really, on a certain level. So the way I would frame it is there are certain needs you can get met spiritually with your connection to the divine. And it's important to have a connection to the divine so that when the people in your life, the human beings that you love and that you're close with, can't meet your needs because they're busy, because they just can't that day, because they're tired, because timing is off, because of whatever reasons, you have a place to go to get your needs met, which is called your spiritual connection. I find, and we've been talking about this in my Star Beings healing class this past week, actually, I find that for me, if I have a need come up and I take it, well, let me put it to you this way. If I have a demand or a want come up, a demand or a want, I demand that the universe give me all the money that I've ever dreamed of having. I want to have a yacht and a summer home in the Hamptons, If I have a want or what did I just say? I spaced out entirely. A want or a demand. If I take the energy of the desire for that want or that demand into my spiritual practice, the divine light, consciousness, the love of God, whichever words you like, will then 100% of the time right size my wants and demands and turn them into needs. That is to say, I will become clear on what I actually need in the moment and what I'm pursuing that's actually a demand or a want. Demands, wants, and needs are very different from one another. So oftentimes human beings, when they're in pursuit of a demand or a want, it's because there's an unmet need that they think they will get met. They think this unconsciously. We think this unconsciously. We think we will get the need met through getting the thing that we want. I just wanted a drink of sparkly water and I drank it. And it did, in fact, meet my body's need for hydration. So that's an example of wants and needs being merged and being each other's best friend. But let's say my body has a real need for hydration, but I go and drink 3 Diet Cokes. Why? Because I want them, because they taste good to my taste buds. I want them because my mind is addicted to the Diet Coke, the aspartame or the caffeine or whatever it may be. So I drink 3 Diet Cokes because I want them. Now I'm even thirstier because, as we know, caffeine it's a diuretic and it does not hydrate you. So had I had 1 small glass of water when I needed hydration and not gone for my want of the flavor of the Diet Coke, I would be hydrated now. My needs would be met. But now I'm amped up on caffeine and the artificial color and sweetener in the thing is making my skin feel weird, which is what it does to me. And I'm thirstier than ever. Now I feel tired and hungover and I can't understand why. And it's because my body was telling me I have a real need here. I have a need for hydration, water. So you can extrapolate here out into your emotional life and your professional life and your financial life and your physical life and so on and so forth by looking at what are my human needs and how do I go about getting them met? What are the tactics I tend to employ in the pursuit of my needs? And the next question after that becomes, are the tactics I'm employing getting my needs met? And question number 2 is, am I in pursuit of a thing that I think will meet this need, but actually ends up not meeting it? So in order to help clarify this point, I'm going to read here a needs list. So all human beings, this is international, it's universal, it's multidimensional. Human beings, if you have a nervous system and are in a human body right now, and by the way, fucking star seeds and star people and spiritual friends of mine, just because you identify with the Pleiadians or come from Sirius B or spent a bunch of lifetimes as a Blu-ray or whatever the fucking thing is, that doesn't mean you're not in a freaking nervous system right now in a human body. If you're listening to this right now, chances are good you have a nervous system and you're in a human body. If you have a nervous system in your human body, I hate to break it to you, but you have needs: emotional, spiritual, physical, mental needs that need to be met. They're not optional. They're needs. You need them in the same way that you need water, in the same way that you need air, in the same way that you need sleep. Okay, so let's look. Here are the categories of needs that this particular needs list I'm pulling from today speaks of: connection, honesty, meaning, play, peace, physical well-being, and autonomy. These are the sections, the types of needs, the broad categories. And then under each broad category or each title, there are smaller, more specific needs. So for example, connection. Under that title, we have acceptance, affection, appreciation, belonging, cooperation, communication, closeness, community, companionship, compassion, consideration, consistency, empathy, inclusion, intimacy, love, mutuality, nurturing, respect, safety, security, stability, support, to know and be known, to see and be seen, to understand and be understood, trust, warmth. These are needs that we have as human beings that fall under the category of connection. Now, in your particular case, you may have more of a need, let's say, for appreciation and belonging than you have for nurturing and warmth. Maybe that's just true for you. Maybe you have more of a need for security, stability, and support than you have for affection, closeness, and companionship. All of them, remember, fall under the category of connection. They're all forms of connection. When you have access to a needs list, which we all do, by the way, because if you go to the internet and just Google needs list, you'll come up with 20 different ones. I highly recommend the needs lists from the NVC paradigm, nonviolent communication. I like this one. This is called Needs List Nonviolent Communication. Great list. Okay, so then let's look at the honesty category. Under honesty, we have authenticity, integrity, and presence. Very interesting that presence is under the title of honesty, or the category name of honesty. Because when you think about it, if you're not present with someone emotionally, your heart's not open, you're not really paying attention, you're not really listening, you're not connecting with them, it's not very honest. Presence allows for honesty. Under the category of play, we have joy and humor. Under the category of peace, we have beauty, communion, ease, equality, harmony, inspiration, order. Under the category of physical well-being, we have air, food, movement, exercise, rest, sleep, sexual expression, safety, shelter, touch, water, physical well-being. Under meaning, we have awareness, celebration of life, challenge, clarity, competence, consciousness, contribution, creativity, discovery, efficacy, effectiveness, growth, hope, learning, mourning, participation, purpose, self-expression, stimulation, to matter, and understanding, all under the category head of meaning. And lastly, we have autonomy. Underneath that title falls these: choice, freedom, independence, space, and spontaneity. Autonomy, choice, freedom, independence, space, and spontaneity. So why am I bothering reading through all of this for you? It's because if you have been believing since entering your spiritual practice that you can get all of your needs met just between you, yourself, and spirit, there is a lie to that. Now, some monks or spiritual teachers or highly evolved folks of a spiritual orientation do in fact have fewer needs. Like, you might be a simpler person, like speaking in human design parlance. Like, let's say you have, I don't know, one defined center and that's not a thing, 2 defined centers, and the rest are open. You might have less of a need for, you might have fewer. And let's say you would have to have been very, very, very well parented. So if you're incredibly well parented, you have a profound relationship with the divine or God, and not a lot of definition in your chart, you might have pretty few needs compared to someone else who has a ton of definition in their chart and had difficulty in childhood and has or does not have a spiritual connection. But take it from someone who's spent 25 years developing her spiritual connection and using her alignment with said connection to heal trauma. What I've learned over the years is that not only is it sort of a lie to believe you can get so spiritually evolved that you no longer have human needs. I found that the higher the vibrational frequency of my spiritual alignment becomes, the more my human needs become evident, the more pronounced they become. Now, what's become less pronounced, and this is fun, is my wants and demands. I do want a bunch of stuff. I do. And I pursue things I want. But I don't even know how to give you a sense of how wanting and thirsty and lonely and hungry and desperate and needy I was as a younger person. Hence my pursuit of this, you could say a higher level of connection with the divine. The need for communion with source consciousness was really big for me because I had a real need for peace. I had so many wants and demands that I had no sense of beauty, communion, ease, equality, harmony, inspiration, or order. Then I got real spiritual, as you all know, and I got deeply into my spiritual practice and clearing all kinds of trauma and bringing the light of consciousness to all my wants and my demands. And what I discovered in doing so is exactly what I said to you at the beginning of this recording today, which is that so many of the things I wanted, when they were touched by the divine light or merged with conscious awareness, dissolved, just literally dissolved. And then I realized underneath it, what I needed actually was connection, let's say, or what I needed was joy. What I needed was peace and harmony. What I needed was inspiration. What I needed was movement. What I needed was safety, shelter. What I needed was inspiration, nurturing, mutuality, love, freedom, independence. I started to understand, okay, I have needs. Now, are these ambitious pursuits that I so desperately think I have to have the way for me to get my needs met? Oftentimes not. Sometimes, yes. So it's not a black or white proposition, but it's something to really start to understand for yourself. How much of the pursuit of my wants and demands and desires is actually getting me to my needs, and how much of what I've told myself I don't really need because I'm so spiritually evolved is actually a subtle form of spiritual bypass, whereby you're telling yourself, just let it go. Just detach. Just take your hands off the wheel. How much of you doing that is coming actually from childhood trauma that says, I can't get my emotional needs met with people. I don't get my needs met in this life. So because I can't get my needs met, I'm going to go ahead and just let it all go and become very quote, quote, spiritual. So you might ask the question, if you're smart, you might now be asking this right now. How do I know when it's an actual need and when it's something I can let go of? How do I know when my wants and demands and desires are getting in the way of my needs getting met versus when they are an energy I can trust and follow and see where they take me, and that I can trust to help me get my needs met more fully? How do I know? Well, there's two surefire ways to find out. Pursue your wants and desires and demands and find out if they bring you connection, honesty, play, peace, physical well-being, meaning, and autonomy. Find out if you get closeness, community, joy, communion, ease, harmony, inspiration, sexual expression, safety, shelter, hope, learning, participation, self-expression, to matter, understanding, freedom, space, spontaneity. Find out by pursuing them if in so doing, you're actually getting what you want, or I should say, getting what you need. Another way to say it is getting what you want and desire and demand actually fulfilling or satisfying? Is it actually bringing you to success? Is it actually providing you with what you actually need and desire? Again, you see, I'm using need and desire together because a lot of times desire, not all the time, but a lot of times desire takes us closer to having our needs met. Isn't that crazy? But sometimes desire does not. So what do we do with that? So a minute ago, I said there's two options. One is pursue your desire and your wants and your demands and see if they meet your needs. If they don't, make a new choice and maybe get a little more conscious about what your needs are and see if you can start making choices that get you those needs met more fully. Option number 2 is bring the light of source or consciousness directly to your want, your demand, and your desire. Remember what I said before, when you bring the light of consciousness to a want, a demand, or a desire, the light of consciousness will right size that want. It will show you, or you could say, make clear for you what you actually need. Okay. I'm coming off my high horse. That's my TED Talk for today about needs. Remember, using spirituality to bypass getting your needs met will only leave you feeling empty, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, not successful, not happy, broke, spiritual, and alone. And that's not what everybody is here for. You know, I know I talk about human design a fair amount on the podcast, but I want to just really say, if you have not had a human design reading, get one from me, get one from someone else, just get one. I cannot tell you how profoundly useful, clarifying, deepening, mind-boggling, eye-opening, heart-expanding, understanding one's own design is. I can't put enough emphasis on how powerful it is. Okay, as promised, we're going to open the records of everyone here. As you can probably hear, I'm already shuffling to see if we can get a nice 3-card spread for you guys. So, on the topic of needs, no. Okay. And so we do acknowledge, take a few deep breaths, breathe into your low belly, relax your body into the chair you're in, feel your feet flat on the ground, see your foot chakras start to spin open at the bottom center of each foot, visualize 500 tree roots of light anchoring into the earth for hundreds of miles through the open window of each foot, see everything from your feet upwards becoming a tree of conscious light that expands left and right, forward and back, and upwards into the heavens, with hundreds of thousands of branches at the top, millions of leaves growing off those branches. And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know the truth, as it is revealed for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. Holy Spirit of God, protect me, please, from all forms of self-centeredness and direct my attention to the work at hand. Help me to know everybody who is listening to this episode in the light of the Akashic Records, past, present, or future. Help me to see everyone who is listening to this episode, past, present, or future, through the eyes of the Lords of the Records, and enable me to share the wisdom and compassion that the masters, teachers, and loved ones of everybody who is hearing this and will hear this episode have for them all. And I'll go quiet for just a moment. And as I'm deepening into the Akashic Records of everyone who will hear this episode and or who is hearing this episode, we're asking for a 3-card spread that's relevant for them here today, August 2nd, 2023. You'll probably be hearing this later than that, 6-7 days in the future. So we'd like this 3-card spread to be relevant for all the people who will hear this on the date that they'll hear it, whether it's 6 or 7 days in the future from now or months in the future from now. We'd like this to be relevant to them. What is the past, the present, and the future for them? Can you please show us a 3-card spread? Yes. All right. So I'm just shuffling still. I always get this really clear sign this energy that occurs when it's time for me to stop shuffling because I've landed on the correct 3 cards at the top of the shuffling. Here we are. All right. Interesting. Okay. All right. So in the recent past, my friends, from whenever you're hearing this, we have the flying card. And for those of you who don't know, I'm using the Colette Baron Reed Enchanted Map Oracle cards. That's the deck I'm using for this 3-card spread. So in the recent past, we have card 20, known as Flying. So somewhere, somehow, in your recent past, there's been some kind of themes to do with the following. You have the power to see things from a higher perspective. If you were a bird flying high in the air, what would you see? When you soar above life's challenges and opportunities, a new perspective becomes available. Today you have, invisible wings that allow you to swiftly bring your circumstances into alignment with your highest purpose. This is a sign that your waiting is over, that all of your hard work has paid off, and the things you hoped for are no longer beyond your scope. You have the ability to reach for the stars and find one with your name on it. Spread your wings and soar. The angels are waiting for you. So something in the recent past has brought you to the awareness that this is a sign that your waiting is over, all your hard work is paid off, and the things you hope for are no longer beyond your scope. Encouragement. You have the ability to reach for the stars and find one with your name on it. Spread your wings and soar. The angels are waiting for you. What a beautiful card that is. All right, so thinking about that and how that's been showing up in your recent past, we come to the present moment, which is the Heal the Ouch card. Forgiveness is the healer of the soul. This is a time for great soothing of the heart, body, soul, and mind, as this card indicates that healing will be prevalent in your life now. If you feel drawn to study the healing arts, you'll be successful in developing your natural capacity to restore others to wellness. However, the message may be that you're being called to change your behaviors in order to heal the earth. Perhaps you'll switch to a cruelty-free diet, eating less meat. Or perhaps you'll pay more attention to how much water or electricity you use. You're asked to be conscious of your footprint on the sacred earth and all of life, and to commit to the healing path. The Heal the Ouch card may also be an indicator of old wounds and broken bonds being mended. Reconciliations are possible now. Let bygones be bygones. Wow, that's beautiful. I think I shared with some of you guys, at least those of you who follow the free 3-card spreads I do on Mondays and Fridays online. These 3-card spreads never used to be for me. They were for you only. Now they all are for me. So far, it's like they're for you, they're for me, and we're together in some kind of collective together. It's really interesting. Like, the healing I've done has sort of brought me into communion with my tribe or my community or the collective. And as I say that, it's the collective that reads the most. That's interesting. So the healing work I've done has brought me to a place where I am now living as a walking embodiment of healing for the collective. Oh boy, no big deal. Wow, that just was very strong transmission. I am an Aquarius. Oh, excuse me. And Aquarians are here to speak to the people, capital T, capital P. All right, thank you for indulging me in that. That was profound. The outcome is the wide open card. This is true for you and for me. The coming short-term future here. You are free to express your uniqueness to the world and share in all the bounty of life's endless possibilities. All manner of opportunities are presented to you at this time. The wide open card is a signal that you're able to truly manifest your dreams. and that your goals are in sight. Don't remain small and contracted. Instead, expand your horizons beyond what you believe to be your limitations. You have a unique voice that needs to be expressed in the world. The universe is supportive of new ideas and approaches at this time, so speak up and speak out. This card is the sign of the maverick who freely roams the wide open space of possibility. It's beautiful. The maverick who freely roams the wide open space of possibility. Allow for a greater vision to replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. My gosh. Oh, yeah. Tons of yawning. Because there is a clearing and an activation happening for me, and a clearing and an activation happening for you. So in the recent past, you've been reminded that all of your hard work has paid off. You're ready. It's all coming together. It's all happening. In the present moment, there's healing, there's reconciliation, there's a reminder to be conscious of and aware of our footprint on the earth. And the outcome is the world of infinite possibilities is ours. We have stepped into the great wide open, as Tom Petty would have said. This card is the sign of the maverick who freely roams the wide open space of possibility. Allow for a greater vision. What is a greater vision, you guys, than the one you've been letting yourself have? To replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. And remember that in order to live your dreams, it's important to get your needs met. Your needs will pull you in the direction of your dreams, and your dreams will pull you in the direction of your needs. Don't deny your dreams and don't deny your needs. Practice playing with, pursuing, following your wants, and seeing which ones of them get you closer to your needs. You got this, my friends. Thank you all so much for being here. I want to thank the masters, teachers, and loved ones for their love and compassion, the lords of the records for their point of view, and the Holy Spirit of light for all knowledge and healing. I ask that you return everyone who will hear this podcast and or is hearing it now, energy to themselves now, please. Return them all to their complete human wholeness. The divine portal and the Akashic Records of everyone who will hear this and benefit from it are now closed. Amen. The divine portal and the Akashic Records of everyone who will hear this and benefit from it are now closed. Amen. The divine portal and the Akashic Records of everyone who will hear this and benefit are now closed. Amen, amen, amen. Shadu wa la ilaha illallah, shadu wa Muhammad abduhu wa rasulullah. All right, my friends, thank you so much. Peace and blessings to you all. May you know your needs, pursue them, and get them met. Love you guys.
What are you asking for? All of the answers? Say what? All of the answers? Yeah, all the answers.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. We'd love to hear from you. Please email us with your questions so that we have questions to answer in the Akashic Records. Our email address is allanswerspod@gmail.com. That's allanswerspod@gmail.com. And if you'd like to find us on Facebook or Twitter, it's @allanswerspod, @allanswerspod. Thank you.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.